And welcome to another live stream watch-along reaction. Tonight we are watching and reacting to United States versus El Salvador in CONCACAF Nations League 2023 Liga A Group D. Estados Unidos contra El Salvador. Liga de Nations de CONCACAF 2023 Liga A Grupo D. Winner goes on to the Nations League semifinals, just like the Mexico-Jamaica game last night. Teams are about to walk out. El Salvador in their white, U.S. in their blue, which is the better jersey of the two from the World Cup era, or the World Cup run. No problem. It took me a little bit longer. Dinner cut it a bit close. I got it done. I got done eating. Had to set up. But hey, it is what it is. 6:30 is a bit of a close cut. It is what it is. But here we are. We're not late. Sometimes can't be completely. Sometimes punctuality is this doesn't happen. But there you go. Starting 11 for the USA, Matt Turner. Back four, Serginho Dest, Miles Robinson, Tim Ream, Anthony Robinson. Midfield three, Yunus Musa, Gio Reyna, Weston McKennie. Front three, Christian Pulisic, Alejandro Zendejas, and Daryl DK, the starting 11. Hasn't even started yet. They're just walking out. Don't do that, Dr. Negative. I'm not that far behind. Come on now. For El Salvador, the starting 11, Mario Gonzalez, back four, or back three, Roberto Dominguez, Eric Zavaleta, and Brian Tamakis. Midfield 5-3-5-2. Yep. Narciso Orellana, Brian Landaverde, Alexander Roldan, Alex Roldan, Jairo Henriquez, Kevin Reyes, front two, Brian Gill, and Enrico Duenas for El Salvador. We got HJU saying the spoiler alert, U.S. wins 2-0. The leak script says, yeah, I believe it. Could you imagine if El Salvador did score early? I mean, it would be as crazy as Jamaica scoring early last night. Anthems to be played, and here we go. So, should be a good one. U.S. wearing their blue. That blue jersey looks nice in Orlando under the dusk. It really does. That El Salvador jersey looks nice too. I want it. 90s style-ish. I'll drink water later. Don't worry. I drink a water a day. Probably should do more, but water than tea. I drink water. It's just not on camera. Don't worry. Or normally it's not on camera, depending how late things go. But how we doing, Rory? Drinking water on camera is not cool. I mean, I guess it is, but whatever. El Salvador anthem playing, then it'll be the U.S. anthem. We already went over the 11s. Hopefully, Peacock shows it again. I don't think they did against Grenada, but we shall see. If they do, we'll say it again. Habs won, Sabres won. That's sort of surprising. Yes, I think it's done. I think it's pretty done already. He was already in Orlando. They've done the full court press. I don't really think he wants to play for England. He said, or he unfollowed the English national team, and English players followed U.S. players. I think it's as done as it needs to be. All that's left is the official announcement. But yes, I think he does. Takumi Sunrise, El Salvador is a beautiful sounding national anthem. If I had the sound on, from the times I've heard it, yes, I agree. Harris scored for the Habs a minute half into the game. Nice. USA, Mexico, Canada hosting World Cup 2026, 104 games. Are you kidding me? Hey, 104 games would be great. I don't know if I could pull what Thogden pulled, but I think that'd be impossible. I'm doing great. How Thogden went to every game in Qatar. I mean, just by the sheer scope of the World Cup in 26, it would be impossible to pull that off. Can I go to 3 World Cup games in 72 hours is more of the question. Like one of those NBA videos where somebody goes to one game, then takes a quick flight to another, then goes overnight to like a third or something like that. It'd be more like that. Which is still fun, don't get me wrong. But I think I may be a little bit biased, but this one with Josie Altidore on the back, which I don't think he ever wore, mind you, but you know. But if it's not this one, Bomb Pop shirt. I like the blue one so far, but I like the U.S. blue shirt from World Cup 22, but I still think this one in Bomb Pop is better. Is this tournament going to be longer, spread out, or will there be multiple at the same time for the group stage? Multiple at the same time, especially on the final match day, but it'd probably be the same way it normally is. Like 4 games a day, group stage, 2 games a day. On the knockouts, yeah, probably the same way. Maybe 4, I don't know. Depending on the round of 32, probably. Exactly. Well, when I got this, he was still there, but now he's former. Mario Escobar is the referee. Luis Ventura and Humberto Panjoj, the assistants. 4th official, Julio Luna. Well, yeah, I mean, the USA is actually good. Like, it would actually be a shock if they lost. Mexico would be like, yeah, the Mexican fans are shocked, but is anybody else really shocked if they did lose? No. If we're being honest, no. We see where they're going. USA is actually good. If Canada loses to Honduras, that'll still be a disaster and a shock. Mexico losing to Jamaica, I wouldn't have been shocked. It would have been hilarious. Because of the explosion of anger that Mexican fans would have had, and still with the draw, I'm sure they did. Hey, if our only 2 good players were Javinko and Josie, they almost won a Champions League anyway. No, I'm not that much of a redneck. And there's one every January just 15 minutes away from me. Yeah, I'm not that much of a redneck. No. Well, hell, I've never been to a NASCAR race either. I'd love to go to an F1 race. I wouldn't be against going to a NASCAR race. I actually like NASCAR. I mean, once I got into F1, you know, NASCAR just came pretty easily, especially with the fact that Race Hub's on every time before Champions League and CONCACAF League, of course. It's just bound to happen, isn't it? No. I'd love to go to Talladega, but I've never been. What do you think of Insigne's new hairstyle? It shows he realizes the rumors. He's trying to pop the rumors and get rid of them. So he dyed his hair red. So I like it. You wouldn't do that if the rumors, well, maybe you would if the rumors were true. But I mean, US to kick off, and here we go. So at the very least, he's still committed for now. That's what that tells me. I think, let me see. Should be up. Mario Escobar, Guatemala. Yep, Guatemala. USA in the blue, El Salvador the white. Throw in. Yeah, that's sad. that barely any fans are there for. Oh, Gio Reyna rounds the keeper, but he's offside. Now, I need to see the replay of that. I don't think, no, he was slightly off, actually. That's where you stop it, yeah. Rounded the keeper. I mean, if the keeper is going to come off his line like that, I think you kind of have to just let it happen. Let it be a goal. Ron DeSantis is there. Currying favor for a presidential run, I guess. I mean, he's running. We know it. Yeah, I didn't think it looked like Chelsea, but I agree. I like the U.S.'s blue kits. Here's a shot. Oh, past the post. Oh, no. 2 minutes in, and El Salvador was this close to scoring. Oh, no. I don't know. I think it's a corner. Turner did get some hands to it. Barely. Future Premier League champion, Matt Turner, mind you. Cross in. Sadly enough, he won't be a Europa League champion, but I mean, they've never lost since 2010 in Toronto, but it's easier for travel. I think that's the main reason why a lot of internationals at home get played in Toronto. So now I'm on Peacock, just like the Granada game. The Spanish transmission. I don't have an HBO Max login. I didn't want to put it on DirecTV, so here we go, Peacock, right? Because I could have watched it on TNT over the satellite, but, you know. Fourth minute. I mean, if I got Peacock for wrestling and Premier League, why not get some more games out of it, you know? U.S. and Chivas. Sometimes. Why not get my use out of it? Fourth minute. True. Who do I think's gonna score? Zendejas, DK. I think Eric Zavaleta is gonna somehow score a header, and then Pulisic scores. It's a 3-1. I just have a funny feeling Zavaleta's going to score. I don't know why. He's played, I mean, honestly, ever since he got to El Salvador and started playing for him, he's played good for them, but played horrible for his club, whether that be Toronto or LA Galaxy. So, if we're going by the way he performs for El Salvador, he'll score a header. And then when he plays again for the Galaxy, he will single-handedly cost them the game. How tall is Zendejas? I thought he was taller than 5'6". Cross in. True. That's what makes it worse that Italy lost to England. England didn't even play that good. Hey, at least Italy beat Malta, right? They did what they were supposed to do. 6th minute. USA putting the ball, or just played it back to the last man back. Anthony Robinson. And Tim Ream puts it out. I think that's a throw in El Salvador, yep. So, one, why is Anthony Robinson the last man back? Second of all, why are you passing it back to him? Yeah, no, that doesn't really spark any joy if I was a U.S. fan. Corner for the U.S. I agree with that. See, I can't do the translation of that in my head. I need a calculator or Google. Give me feet and inches, please. Seventh minute. And Matt Turner's down. Arsenal fans are cringing. Well, U.S. fans too. It'll be nice to get Insigne back in the starting 11 to get some pressure off of Bernadeschi. Looks like he'll be ready to return by April 17th, pending no further setbacks against Atlanta at BMO. Oh, we're going to need him, so I hope that's the game he's back for. We're going to need him first. So 2 more games without him? Yeah, if I do the math, I think it's about 2. Zendejas is 5'4", almost 5'5", so I am taller than him. Jeez. Barely. All right. I thought he was taller. Interesting. I thought he was like 5'7", 5'8", but I don't watch enough Club America, I guess, over the past year because they haven't made Champions League since 2021. So, corner for Pulisic. Yeah, he's shorter than Pulisic, and Pulisic's 5'8". See, I see it. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with metric, but feet and inches for like height is one of the ones that I can't really get past. Or as in, stop. Feet and inches for height is one of the imperial things that I'd rather prefer. Yeah, that's the word. It's the biggest El Salvador team I've seen not twerpy like Mexico. You know what? Yeah. I think you're right. Salvador playing the ball forward. 9th minute. 0-0, 0-0. Yeah, I see it. Gonzalez. And yes, Tomas Romero's on the bench for El Salvador. Toronto FC backup. I think Romero played El Salvador's their friendly. Yep, because they played a friendly. And right to Gonzalez. El Salvador's wearing white. USA's wearing blue. Normally it's the other way around, so I understand, but USA's wearing their blue World Cup uniforms. El Salvador's wearing the 90s style white jerseys. Faux backs, what I like to call them. I told you, cross in, save. I told you before, and I'll say it again. Nations League, to most fans, whether it's TFC fans, most TFC fans that will watch for the Italians or Canadian fans, Nations League is a Malero. They don't know. They don't think Nations League matters. It was World Cup qualifying that brought everybody out. And hell, even Vancouver, when Curacao happened, that really didn't sell out much. So you could say it's a whole Canada problem, but Nations League, if they had some Gold Cup games, I think they would sell them out. if there's any Gold Cup 24 games, of course, those will be sold out, especially if Canada are in them. But Nations League, I don't think the importance of it, DK plays the ball forward, gets tackled, foul, yep. I don't think the importance has been put over to Canadian fans that the Nations League, not Gold Cup, the Nations League is important. It may be the second time of it, but the Nations League, this time, it qualifies for Gold Cup, which Canada have already done automatically, even if they win, draw, or loss tomorrow. And then, of course, the next Nations League, Canada would get a bye to the quarterfinals if the FIFA rankings, if they stay top 4, which they should, barring any disasters, top 4 in CONCACAF, they should get a bye to the quarterfinals in Nations League. Shot save, which would be a home and away quarterfinal to qualify for Copa America and the Nations League finals next March. So November, they would have that tie, I think. And they would be in Copa America, and that matters a lot. So I would hope for that game, that home game of that quarterfinal, that there is a correct advertisement of it, but agreed. I mean, they signed a damn CSB deal. NFL fans have bugged me, the 49ers, annoying on TikTok. Sometimes LAFC, Galaxy are annoying too. Fair. Seen that. It's not advertised too well. You have to be aware of the sport. For people just getting into the game, it's behind 2 paywalls, one soccer and Apple TV for North American football. But if you're in the area, you should put it over. Like if you're in Toronto, if they're in Toronto, there should be more commercials about Honduras versus Canada, Tuesday, March 28th, 8 p.m. Eastern. Gates open 7. You think there would be that. It's a CONCACAF Nations League 4th game. It decides who goes to the Nations League finals in June. Root on your boys till they could get to the Nations League finals for the first time. U.S. go. Tim Ring, I'm a little bit behind. Freaking Peacock. I mean, Granada was the same way. Plays forward, McKennie. Cross in. Goes back. Dest. That's going backwards. Miles Robinson. That's a free kick. I think you were actually, I think HJU was trolling. It took a bit too long. Should have realized. I haven't seen any. Exactly. No mobile ads. No press of mobile ads. No TV ads. No Spotify. Like, it makes you wonder. Like, you think that even TFC would do the pushing for it. But I don't know. Fox does the Gold Cup rights, yes. And they have Copa America. And they got the Euros. I didn't want to pay for Apple TV. I did. Well, I wanted to and I had to, but I like Apple TV. I think if you wanted to pay for it, it's worth it. I like what they're doing with it. I still have to probably do that for Canadian Championship or use Fox Sports, foxsports.com if the CPL still has rights on Fox, and just use incognito windows to watch it. Just refresh a new incognito window every half. Which may be better anyway. That's maybe the way I'll go if that's the way CPL and CanChamp will be watched until I get YouTube TV. But we're not really pushing. That should be a penalty. No, it's not. Interesting. Corner. And no VAR. So one mention. One. Oh, boy. See, I mean, they're not doing themselves any favors. I mean, yeah, the Nations League is a molero in a certain sense. It's a new competition. It's a molero. cross in. And hell, most of the people who went to the U.S.-Canada game back in 2019, one, it was pre-pandemic. Second of all, that was true Canada fans. I don't think there was any bandwagons, or what you would call bandwagons, at that game. The bandwagoners started hopping on after that game. That fateful night in October of 2019. Amazing game, but I remember. Thought Canada was going to get enough points to make the Hex, and then they lost the next month. So no Nations League finals, had to play that qualifying tournament. At that point, it was going to be the Get Bent tournament instead of getting into the Octo. It was going to be you're playing for a playoff spot, remember? I mean, in the end, it didn't turn out so bad, but at that point, I was really pissed off about that November U.S.-Canada game. 4-1, Vitoria scored. Yeah, ruined Canada's chances of getting into the Hex. It's pre-COVID. They weren't going to the Nations League finals either, and Cuba, well, at least hell, if Cuba did their job, we would have went, but Cuba got blown out a couple of days later, so that died too. And that was after Jordan Morris made TFC look like mincemeat in the MLS Cup. That was not a good week. That was not a good week, let me tell you. '18th minute. But in the end, it all turned out okay, didn't it? (2-0) St. Kitts and Nevis over Aruba. 2-0 Dominican versus Belize full time. Good. I'm more interested in that Guatemala French Guiana game after this game's over. Of course, I'll be recording the review and then watching Guatemala French Guiana, but I'm interested in that. Whoever wins that group and goes up to Ligue A. Ireland got 80,000 for soccer today. Ireland got 80,000 for rugby last week and 80,000 for hurling before that. That's a Sporting City Dublin. I agree. Hurling, is that like cricket or something? Android Box is the best. Flow TV have games like Montserrat versus Haiti today. Ireland versus France was good today. 2 St. Lucia, 0 Dominica, halftime. USA can get scored on. Grenada's already done it, and El Salvador knows it. Well, all USA has to do to win their group is draw. So right now, El Salvador, again, has to do what Jamaica would have had to do if they want to go through. How we doing, Ilias? If El Salvador wins the group, they go to the Nations League finals. If US draws or wins, they're through. Same situation. And the same situation applies tomorrow for Canada versus Honduras. If Canada wins or draws, they're through. If Honduras wins, Honduras is through. But they would be equal on points if there's a draw, but Canada has the goal differential. So that'll be the one difference. It's a little bit more precarious. Found out not too long ago that Irish people actually speak their own language and not English. I knew this. They speak Gaelic. The Welsh also have their own language as well. I don't know if you knew that. Oh, it's Gaelic football. It's hurling. Okay, all right. I've only heard Gaelic football. I didn't know it was called hurling, but okay. So, okay. It's the same thing. All right. It's actually very interesting, Gaelic football. I haven't watched much, but it's very captivating when I do. It's interesting. It's very interesting. I'm doing great. Musa's off. Don't know if he'll come back on or if they'll sub him out, but Luca De La Torre looks like he's ready to come on. if need be. What was the injury? Looks like he was holding his leg. He got carried off, like shoulder to shoulder. So I'm going to guess lower body. And he was holding his leg, but he's back on. So guess it was just a cramp. Apparently the King of England speaks fluent Welsh. He's the Prince of Wales. Or he was the Prince of Wales, I should say. So. Oh, okay. I mean, he was the Prince of Wales before he was the king. So, I mean, he should. Shouldn't he? USA should have beaten England. No, I think a draw was fair. That should be a foul. And no, it's not. Are you kidding me? Where's VAR? You know what? I hate VAR, but I also hate games that don't have VAR. If you're going to have VAR as a thing, why not? Why have like some games a year or some competitions that don't have it? It pisses me off. French Guiana is going to Gold Cup and Guatemala is going to advance to Gold Cup prelims. Now Dominican Republic and Belize are both eliminated, but French Guiana and Guatemala play tonight. Winner wins the group. I told you I was interested in that for, well, I wouldn't say a reason, but I'm just interested in watching it. But there's a lot to that game. Still in League B, though. I mean, in North America, it's already at Exploria Stadium. They should have VAR, but it's the Central American games and Nations League that probably make it impossible in all three leagues. So it wouldn't be unfit. I'm watching it on Peacock. You can watch it on TNT as well, Telemundo, HBO Max, but I'm watching Peacock. I didn't want to put it on the satellite, DirecTV, and I don't have the HBO Max login, so it's Peacock for me. But if I have it for wrestling and Premier League, why not watch it? Get more out of it. It's the North American teams like Canada, BMO already has it, Exploria already has it, Azteca already has it. Problem is, it's the Central American teams that didn't play in the Octo. Because it did come in halfway through the Octo, so Jamaica would have had it too. But it's like your Surinams, your Curaçaos, your Guatemala should have it. El Salvador, I think they do. They had it for CONCACAF League, so. I don't think CONCACAF wants to subsidize it. That's the problem. Whether they don't have enough money or they're just cheap, I have no idea. Yeah, exactly. CONCACAF is weird, but it's part of the charm. 24th minute, 0-0, 0-0. Yeah, I'd rather watch Guatemala, French Guiana. Just by myself. I'm not covering it. I still have to review this, but. Kazakhstan coming back at home against Denmark was amazing in the highlights. The fans went mental. Kazakhstan came back on Denmark. Wild. Well deserved, I guess. The fans going mental, well deserved. Matt Turner gets to the ball. Good. Anthony Robinson runs out. That's a throw-in. Yeah, exactly. It starts right now. Like, it's going to be pretty much over by the time this is over. One more match day, CONCACAF Nations League after this. Canada plays tomorrow. I think I'll be up there for it. How we doing, Parcero? How we doing? How we doing? USA needs to park the bus. I mean, they're drawing already. They're winning the group. I mean, the performance isn't good enough for me. I have to say, after Grenada, they should have pushed forward Luca De La Torre. I said he should have started. He didn't. Zendejas did start. I'm good with it. But to me personally, the USA is just being lackadaisical. They're fine with winning 1-0. They're fine with drawing. It's not as bad as Mexico last night. That was bad. They're not on the ropes, the rails, the ropes. They're not on the ropes like Mexico were. They're dictating the pace. But to me personally, I expected better. I expected a win. 2-3-1. Maybe it'll end up happening. I think they're being a bit methodical. They're still winning the group. They're on top. They're in the catbird seat. If they lose, that's a problem, but I don't think that's happening. But it's not. It's not, right? Right? I can't imagine that. I think it'd be more of a depression, sad moment than Mexico, if that happened. I don't know if the Euro snobs, I don't know where that's going to go if El Salvador wins. I don't know if the Euro snobs are going to start being angry or it's the MLS heads. It's going to be toxic. Straight to Gonzalez. Pulisic couldn't get the shot off. Rolls a bit through, 28th minute. I don't want to see it. Well, yeah, I know El Salvador is better than Grenada. I'm not saying they're going to lose 7-1. I'm saying the U.S., if they kept playing the way they did against Grenada and play openly and play to their potential, they still should win 3-1, especially at home. I agree El Salvador is better. I like the project Hugo Perez has. I agree. But I think the U.S. is being a bit methodical. They're not just going on momentum and pushing and pushing and pushing. They're just being methodical. I agree with that. I agree. I think they're a little bit more physical, and I think that's down to Hugo Perez. I think Hugo Perez is a more physical coach. I think that's what he wants to see out of his players. Yes, they have talent. That's great. Pass the post. I know. Euro snobs is just a funny word. It is. It is. It is. Player for player, Canada is much better than the States. I think it's more the tactics that Canada employ. I mean, right now, of course, I think Canada slightly is better. But once you get Balogun, you get some of those dual nationals, and you get a manager who isn't going to just be more worried about his back passes and his shoes, it could get a bit dicey. But I think Canada had the tactical edge and had the belief edge, and they still do for now. But player for player, I can't say that. I mean, Borjan versus Turner. You give me Borjan right now? Yeah. But that's still pretty close. Back four, Larea versus Dest. Give me Larea. Victoria versus Robinson. I think Miles Robinson. Give me Miles Robinson. Free kick for the USA. Scott Kennedy. Kamal Miller versus Tim Ream. Let's go Kamal Miller. Kamal Miller versus Tim Ream. Give me Kamal Miller. Davies versus Robinson. Give me Davies. Fair. Eustachio versus Musa. Eustachio. Reyna versus Atiba. Give me Reyna. Osorio versus McKennie. Give me McKennie. Front three, Buchanan versus Pulisic. Give me Buchanan. Laren versus DK. Give me Laren. David versus Zendejas. Give me David. So, fair enough. I guess so. Yeah, I could see it. I could see it. Free kick. I just take a direct free kick, take the shot, but cross it in, head it away. This is true. El Salvador beating the U.S. would be worse if that ended up happening. Because again, El Salvador has never beaten the USA. USA is a better team than Mexico right now. Zendejas foul. Free kick. Yep. Johnson's a better fullback than anyone on the States. Canada have Davies, David Larin, and Buchanan. Pulisic's the only scorer I like on the States. That's fair. That's fair. Johnston is better. Yeah, Alistair Johnston, better, but then again, where do you put Davies? Like, I'm just saying Davies is technically a left back for Bayern Munich. You could push him forward if you wanted, or you could go 3-5-2, have Johnson be a third center back, Davies and Larea as the wing backs with the three midfielders, and then the two front, David and Larin. David and Larin. Cross in. You could do it, but kind of what they did, but you could do it. But then Buchanan, either he's in the midfield or it's just, maybe that's a good problem to have. I think it is, but 32nd minute. No. Well, MLS Liga MX's all-star team mix against European teams? Yes, I could see it. I think that could very well happen in the next 10 years. But another MLS versus Liga MX's all-star match? No. Because of the League's Cup, it's not happening. That's why they went back to playing European teams. I think it's more likely we see East versus West than MLS versus Liga MX ever again in an all-star game. I think it was something to tide them over. But now, which I think Arsenal versus MLS will be interesting, and I'll be on here for it, be good, but is Davies two-footed? Can he cross effectively on both legs? Yes. Yes. Orlando, Exploria, yes. Davies is dangerous as a fullback, outside midfielder, or striker. This is true. He has a very good versatility, which is a good thing. And we thought Herdman was the crazy one for trying to make him a left back. And then Bayern fell, and then Bayern did it too, and then smart. 34th minute. And he could still play midfielder, wing if he needs to, or striker, which that's great. Especially when you're chasing the game. 34th minute. 0-0, settle. Thoughts on the fact Arsenal will be the MLS All-Star opponent this year? I think it's great. Most likely the defending Premier League champions coming to play the All-Stars would be a great match. And it gives Matt Turner a homecoming of sorts. He's already been an MLS All-Star MVP for the MLS. He's going to start for Arsenal in that game. It gives him a homecoming, and I think that means a lot. It could give MLS fans a chance to give him respect, see him again. That's great. Arsenal's a good team. They're fun to watch. So I think it all works out. Do you think Tuchel could beat City again? I hope he does. I think he can. I mean, Pep Guardiola always overthinks Champions League, and Thomas Tuchel is a damn good manager. So, yeah, I say Tuchel can, yeah. El Salvador is better than Mexico now. Maybe it's their amazing president who's cleaned up their country of corruption. El Salvador. It helps, yeah. That's what happens when you go to Bitcoin as your currency. Oh, they're making him wear a penny jersey. Any chance of under 2.5 as this is going? Yes, there's a very good chance of that. So if you want to hammer those live lines now, go right ahead. I mean, you got 10 minutes of the first half with extra time. You got another 45. This could easily go under 2.5. Yeah. Not that I expected it. I did not expect that at all. But as it stands now, yeah. If somebody hit the under, they may end up looking the smart one. So, be interesting. 36 minute. Header. Save, Matt Turner. Right there. Goal kick. And player down injured. That will be offside. Brian Gill looking injured. Now we always have MLS All-Stars versus Arsenal ever since All-Stars versus Europe. Here's the thing. I like the European versus MLS All-Stars. I like it. I like that format, and I missed it. Now, I do think Liga MX versus MLS was a good format, but I kind of always nobody knew that far out that Leagues Cup was going to become, or was it about that time when we found out Leagues Cup was going to become that big? But once that came out, it was like, yeah, it was always going to be a placeholder, because why are you going to have MLS and Liga MX face each other right before All-Stars of both leagues face each other right before Leagues Cup or right after? So it always made sense that they were going to go back to either the European All-Star matches or play East versus West. And I think European for now is the better choice. Now, at some point, would I like MLS to go back to East versus West and have a full MLS All-Star game, 2 conferences? I would love that. I think there's a point where it needs to happen. You have enough teams in both conferences. The league's getting bigger. In the next 10 years, before you send them off to Leagues Cup, it should be East versus West All-Star game. I think the European All-Stars coming back is just like MLS Liga MX for the past 3 years. Now, it was really 2, but you know what I'm saying. It's a placeholder for about 5 to 7 years. By the time the next decade starts, by the time the 2030s start, 2030 and plus, I think it'll be East versus West MLS All-Star games. I think it will be. At least that's the logical decision. But 38th minute. I don't think City could catch Arsenal in the remaining 11 games. I don't think so either, but I'm not putting anything past them. So, right now, I'll believe Arsenal are champions when they're mathematically a point away. Okay? Nobody blows that. Right now, 11 games, anything can happen. Arsenal look like they're going to win the league. It looks like they're not going to be stopped. But, again, Man City's Man City. They could go on an 11-win streak, and Arsenal drops a point, and that's what loses the league. I wouldn't be shocked if that ends up happening. It wouldn't really shock me. Now, am I saying that's happening? No. But would it shock me? No. Honestly, because of how Mexico played against Suriname and Jamaica, we don't deserve to win the Nations League. Well, don't worry, you won't. U.S. would probably play Mexico in the semis. It's possible that it'll happen. Saw somebody say that. It's possible. And Canada plays the winner of Costa Rica, Panama. So that means Canada would be in the final. I'm really rooting for that. And no, I'm not afraid of jinxing Canada by saying winning them playing Panama or Costa Rica is an automatic win in the semifinals. It is. It is. I'm putting my chest out right now. Canada, if they face, they will be in the Nations League final. But if they face Costa Rica or Panama, the winner of that game, the second game tomorrow, they're automatically in the final. as good as automatically in the final. I'm saying it now. '41st minute. And they'll probably play the USA in the final, but I know CONCACAF is probably going to try to rack the numbers to make sure that Mexico and USA can't meet until possibly the final. But the fact that it's possible that it could be a US-Mexico semi and Canada's on the other side waiting for the battered winner is great. They don't usually go over 2 in a row. No. Mexico, great rant. Mexico rant the other day, by the way. Mexico deserves it. I was just speaking the facts. States have the same scoring problems they had at the World Cup. I agree. Costa Rica looked old last year. They made a great run to get to the World Cup, but once they got to the World Cup, besides the one win, they looked useless. But they made a good run to get there. Canada already owned them at the Gold Cup the last time the Gold Cup happened, and that was 2 years ago. So I think it'll happen again if it's a Costa Rica-Canada semi. And Panama's in the same boat anyway. '43rd minute. 3 St. Lucia, 0 Dominica. Jesus. St. Lucia came out of nowhere. That's going to go forward 43rd minute. Well, yeah, that's exactly what I just said. Mexico, USMNT, the winner is going to be battered and bruised. Just less than the loser. Canada would be the favorite in the final. They play an easy game against Costa Rica or Panama. Rest up for the final. They'll be 100%. USMNT will be walking in. Most likely the USMNT will be walking in at 75%. Canada plays the final against a 75% USA, and hell, 100% USA couldn't beat Canada during the freaking qualifiers and barely beat them at the Gold Cup. I like Canada's chances of winning the Nations League in that case. I do. Erling Haaland will break Salah's record. Yeah, that's pretty obvious. So, I mean, that's pretty much what I said. I'm really praying for that semifinal to be USA-Mexico, then Canada versus Costa Rica or Panama, depending who wins that second game. If Panama wins or even draws, they go through. Costa Rica would have to win. I believe it. Do you see Salvador winning 1-0? No. Right now, I think it's going to be a 1-1 or 0-0 draw. I wouldn't say always, but let's see. Predictions for CONCACAF round of 16. 4 out of 8. That's worse, actually. But that's not always wrong. That's honestly one of my worst runs. And, of course, Toronto I'm going to be wrong about because I'm biased. So that definitely brings my average down, too. Well, Canada stuff, too. But Croatia plays Netherlands in Nations League semifinal in June. Yes, that's UEFA. And Croatia can end up playing Italy in the final, which I would love to watch. Even though Italy would probably lose. I saw, and I'm happy for Morocco. That's a great win. 4 minutes of stoppage time. And yes, I would cover the Italy Nations League final against Croatia. Even though Italy will probably lose. 46th minute, I should say. Canada should take advantage that Mexico's not playing good because it's not going to last forever. Mexico will be number 1 again in CONCACAF. Yeah, I mean, with the FMF being as crony as they are, I don't know if Mexico will ever be 1 again. Unless they get rid of the Directiva, or the Directivos actually realize that sending their players to Europe will be better, or stop worrying about these friendlies in the U.S. where you're playing a D team just to get money off of people who haven't seen Mexico that much. I did, and I throw my hands up, and I was wrong. Morocco was way better than I thought. Morocco, I respect what Morocco did. They had a great setup. They had great tactics. They played with their hearts. They were the better team. And ironically enough, Canada was in the position Morocco was, and they were in 2018. So I'm expecting good things from Canada in 2026. But sometimes you got to take your lumps. And me being wrong about that is me taking my lumps, and Canada taking their lumps as well. So I admit I was wrong. I feel like a Mexico-USMNT semifinal will be more intense than a Mexico-USMNT final. Yeah, because Mexico feels like, or the fans feel like their divine right is to be in finals, and they have to beat their hated rival to get to that final, who are the current title holders. Yeah, it'd be intense. I think you're right. You're right on that. Yep. Croatia play in Turkey tomorrow. I'm not drinking heavy like I did Saturday against Wales. Too much recuperating on Sunday. Smart idea. I mean, at some point in the next 10, 15 years, yes. But I think Canada and U.S. can make a good run at home in 26. I agree with that. I think they can. Yes, 2026. I'd love to see Carlo Ancelotti be the Canadian coach, but if Herdman chooses to leave in the next 2 years, if he stays after 25, I think he's committed. But if he stays through 24, half of 25, I think he's committed to the 2026 World Cup. But if the opening comes and Carlo can take the job, header past the post. McKennie couldn't put it in. Bad angle. 48th minute, 49th. So very close to halftime. McKennie couldn't get the header. We're very close to half. You'll bet anything that Liga MX will beat MLS in that new cup. I don't think so. I'd say Pachuca's one of your better chances, and they just got owned by Motagua, so I think Toronto could beat Pachuca in the semifinals. In July, I think Toronto will be better by then. The way they're playing, they're actually very well improving. So 1-1. 0-0 at the half, 1-1 at the end of the night. I don't think this will be an outright win. Speaking of, halftime, 0-0 it is. 0-0 at the half for Anthony Hudson's U.S. versus El Salvador. Not the best half, a little bit methodical, but in the end, U.S. are still top of the group. In the catbird seat, all they have to do is draw. They're through. It's not as much of an embarrassing draw as the Mexico draw was. This is more just methodical, and El Salvador is being very tough to crack as well. Still think U.S. is slightly better, but they're kind of taking the initiative to just be careful tight. I agree with that, but I got to see what Tigres does in Champions League. Of course, they should easily waltz to the final of CCL, playing Motagua, then possibly, most likely, Leon. But then they'll play Philly or LAFC. That's the real test. even Orlando will probably be their toughest matchup until the final of CCL. So let me see what the rest of their season is like, then their summer is like, and then we'll talk about Leagues Cup and what they do in the summer, whether they get a new manager, they keep their current interim, what signings they make. And then it's very early into their season where Leagues Cup starts. So you're already building, they're still building together. Maybe if Gignac becomes God again, maybe, but we'll see. I mean, it's possible. I'm not going to discount it, but I need to see what form they're in at that point. With that being said, we'll take a short break at the half, talk about the stats, talk about what the first half looked like, and push on. Quarterfinals. Sit tight, we'll be back. Good game so far. 0-0. Settle. Sit tight, we'll be back. We're back. 0-0. No, DK didn't score. With that being said, we're back for the stats of the half. 0-0 at the half. 5 shots to 1. 3 on target to 1. 0 assists to 0. 5 steals to 13. 5 fouls to 7. 54% possession to 46% possession. 1 offside to 2. 5 corners to 2. 166 correct passes to 134. 36 incorrect passes to 20. 201 passes to 154. Yep. 83% pass accuracy to 87. No yellows on either side and no reds on either side. 0-0 at the half. 0-0. USA's been slightly the better team. I think they've been very methodical. El Salvador's been a tough team to play or score on, to break down, but I think the U.S. has been very methodical. They're okay with the draw. The draw puts them through anyway. Nothing. Not a damn thing. Couple of okay chances. McKennie with the closest chance for the U.S. at the half, with a header that went past the post. Other than that, off the free kick. But other than that, USA hasn't really had a great chance. But if that's their last chance of the half, maybe the second half gets better chances. El Salvador hasn't really had any really big chances either. Of course, that shot at Turner was the shot on goal for Gil. So far, I think both teams have been pretty even. The U.S. has been slightly better. They're being methodical. They're letting it be a draw. They're okay with it. They haven't looked horrible. It's better. I would say this is a better circumstance than the Mexico draw. USA is looking like they're trying to play their game. El Salvador definitely has been tough to break down, though. With that being said, we have another 45 minutes. We'll see if USA could end up winning. A 1-1 draw wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Or a 0-0 draw, frankly. But again, another 45 minutes on this penultimate day of Nations League group stage matches. Of course, tomorrow is the last day of group stage matches. That'll be Canada versus Honduras. And then after, we'll figure out the 4th team in the semifinals, which is Costa Rica or Panama. Then there's only 3 Nations League matches left for this term in June for the finals. Of course, the semifinals. Actually, no, 4. 3 would be the semifinals and final. 4 adds the 3rd place. My bad. Technically 3 that matter, but, you know. So, League A, 5-6 matches. I think 10 overall. U.S. needs Walker Zimmerman. Y'all were fine without him in Grenada. Austin Trusty played pretty well. Mark McKenzie played pretty well. I'd say they played better than Miles Robinson and Tim Ream. But again, Miles Robinson just came back from injury. Tim Ream is getting up there in age. He does long passes. Zimmerman blocked the goal against England. Fair, but that is fair. 11 days till I'll see the Mario movie. Nice. Wii U and 3DS eShops are dead worldwide due to disconnect. Ryan, is there a risk that El Salvador might steal it? Got to score for safety. I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, USA could get scored on. El Salvador is being really tough right now. If El Salvador wins, they go through. So, yeah, the U.S., I think they do have to score for safety. I think they're being a little bit too methodical. They're being a little bit too lackadaisical on the pitch. But the next 45, if they get more chances like the McKennie header, I think they'll be fine. Everyone remembers the bad moments, but not the good moments. That's fair. But not the good moments. That's fair. Check the AMC site. And the Mario movie is going to have more people at YM Theater Friday than opening day Wednesday. Well, good thing you bought your tickets. I'd still say Friday's better than Wednesday, especially for a movie like Mario. But considering most the TFC games are on at 6:30, maybe I'll just go on Saturday. If I do go the first weekend. But again, another 45 minutes, second half's about to start. I think the U.S. should end up drawing or winning. If they draw, they still win the group. They're through. El Salvador has to win if they want to go through to the Nations League finals. Just like Jamaica had to win, and they didn't. So, So Mitchell and Ness made shirts like that for every team, not just TFC. Oh. I mean, it still worked for TFC. It looks like an Onyx faux back, but whatever. How's the United States played? They've played pretty good, lackadaisically, but they've played as good as you could want them to, I guess, so far, while El Salvador's being pretty tough, knowing they need to win. El Salvador's best case is a 1-0 for them. I think that's what they're trying to play for. Teams are about to walk out for the second half. 3 St. Lucia, 1 Dominica. Still 10 minutes left in that one. We're about 6. Burgers and burritos. That would be nice right now. Another 45. To figure out who will be the second team in the Nations League semis this season. Trinidad and Tobago equalized 1-1. Do you want movie theater butter on your popcorn or no butter at all? Lots of butter. Lots of butter. So, yes, movie theater butter, easy. Lots of butter. Zendaya started, yes. Like, yes. It's its turn. As you can see from we're finally to the door on hats. It's its turn. We're finally done with the ones over there. What's the final score? Tons of butter. Exactly. Just in popcorn in general, you know. But if I'm at the movie theater, I'm going to get popcorn. Simple as. And an icy. They might be back. I think Toronto is back, yes. I think they're on their way. El Salvador's got nice jerseys. Yeah, I want one. That 90s fullback, I want one. Yeah. Like, that'd be some cool streetwear in general, mind you. But that's a cool jersey. I used to love Orville Redenbacher microwave popcorn. Remember when they had those pop-up bowls? Like, they popped into bowls and you took the plastic off and you could eat it out of that pack. Yeah, those were cool. 45th minute. Just like Monterrey is back after being on vacation in 2020, 2021, and 2022. Hey, they won a Champions League in 2021. Let's be real here. So they'll go back to Champions League and they'll win the Champions League when they go back. Yeah, we know. Monterrey Magic. That's all I could call it. 45th minute. You know how the Cardinals have devil magic? The St. Louis Cardinals? Yeah, Monterrey has that too. Especially in the Champions League. Every time they make it, I'm just going to predict them to win. I'll end up being right. Shot! Passed off the post. Be played forward by El Salvador. We're in the second half. Orville popcorn is the second best popcorn. What's the best? Nice. Welcome back, Rory. You think the Dynamo is back? Yeah, I think that's a bit too early. Maybe Benny Ball works for them. Interesting. 46th minute. Maybe. Oh, Alex Roldan got taken off. All right. Act 2, Butter Lovers Popcorn. Act 2, Pop Secret. There ain't much difference to me. Reyna going forward. I want to see him score a goal. After all that Gio Reyna's went through, it doesn't seem like he was behind it. I want to see him score. Past the post. Fair. Leagues Cup this summer. Can't wait. It's going to be a great time. Go from the All-Star game to Leagues Cup. It's going to be good. Can't wait to see Arsenal play the MLS All-Stars as well. Like going into Leagues Cup. That's a nice little curtain jerker, so to speak, in wrestling terms. Canada Fubo TV is 22 seconds ahead. TNT seems like it's behind. Somebody's on TNT. And you can't fast forward Peacock, so I've tried wrestling and football, so I'm stuck where I am. Popcorn is stomachache food. Yeah, I know. El Salvador almost FAFO'd. I think they're about to. Corner, Pulisic, 48th minute. I got it on Peacock. So TNT just kicked off. So they're behind. I'm ahead of TNT, but behind a Fubo. One soccer. Header. Passed over the bar. Weston McKennie misses another header. Could have easily made that dip, but he didn't. I'm glad I'm watching on Peacock then. 47-41 on Hulu. I'm 48-14. Where are you? Soccer Steve? 22 seconds ahead, so about 48-44. 46. Why is it not all synced up? It's the same match. It's not on TVDNA. It's just on Universo. That's the U.S.'s Spanish rights. Well, Peacock. Just like this is not on Paramount Plus. If it was, I would have just used Paramount Plus. Sucks to me that ads, I bet. No? If it showed ads, I would lose it. 48-44. Okay. 49-18 right now. El Salvador in the midfield. That's going to go out. Throw in for Dest. Serginho Dest. Paramount is TUDNA and Peacock is Universo. No. No, it's just that TUDNA has CONCACAF rights, but not the U.S. Spanish rights. Paramount Plus has the CONCACAF English rights for Nations League and, well, not Gold Cup, but Nations League and World Cup qualifying. But the U.S. games, away or home, are now just on under HBO Max. So, but Universo is owned by NBC Universal, which has Peacock. Paramount Plus just has the English rights. The TUDNA has for every other game. TUDNA is owned by Televisa and Univision, which I think, no. HBO showing sports is odd, which the TNT is on HBO Max as well, but I don't have that login, so because if I did, I'd be watching a lot of South Park. Enjoying this game. Nice. Reyna doesn't put much effort in during the press. Yeah, I've seen that. I mean, it does kind of go along with the problems he had during the World Cup behind closed doors, if we're really putting 2 and 2 together. Like, if I was him, I'd be putting more into it, but that's just... I mean, HBO does have a sports department. They show a lot of boxing, or they used to. Best chocolate bar. Ooh. You're going to make me go pull a Mike Leach, ain't you? Best chocolate bar. Crunch. Nestle Crunch. Well, no, Kit Kat, too. It's got to be Kit Kat or Nestle Crunch, frankly, for me. Those are the first two that come to mind. Cross in. Here comes the USA. Zendejas! Past the post. Great clearance. NHL was promoted once, I thought. I don't think it was ever on HBO. Is that what you're trying to say? Oh, you're talking about the TNT. Oh. Maybe it was. Wow, it's been on TNT. Maybe it was. It wasn't the Leafs, so it's probably why I don't know dead on, but okay. Fair enough. That's true. That's true. But it just doesn't look as good. Pulisic cross for the corner. Cross in. And too far. Too far. See, but those aren't chocolate bars. Those are just chocolate, like truffles, chocolate nibs, stuff like that. We're talking chocolate bars. But yeah, Swiss chocolate is great, especially for cooking. But yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, Bryant Gumbel. But it's still HBO branded. HBO Max. So, but yeah. If I'm cooking with a chocolate, like either putting it in something or melting it, it would be Swiss chocolate. That makes more sense. Definitely great for melting, fondue, so on and so forth. Especially if you're trying to put a lot into like the cake or something. Those are chocolate. You're talking candy bars, but chocolate bars are candy bars. Again, you just made me pull a Mike Leach. 44th minute, 0-0. I mean, I've had Godiva truffles before. Apparently, Goal.com as El Salvador versus USA is the big match of the night. Huh. There's nothing else. Okay. Fair. 54th minute. Oh! Okay, yeah, that's a foul. That should be a free kick, definitely. Looks like Martinez is going to come on for El Salvador. Oh, you're talking Canadian Smarties. Okay, yeah, not Rockets. You're talking Canadian Smarties, yep. Oh, Henry, never had them. M&M's. They're candy, but you can't put them in bars. Gil and Martinez are to come on. Chile versus Paraguay friendly happening too. Smarties? Oh, wait, you're talking about Canadian Smarties, not Rockets. And that's offside by DK. I need to see the replay of that. I didn't. A little bit too tight for me. You have 17 fans and the most bipolar fans out there. They hype up Alex Zendejas and immediately say he sucks. I didn't see anything that make me say Zendejas suck. Yeah, seriously, USMNT fans are bipolar. Jeez. Smarties, oh yeah. Who's this Johnny USA? I have Johnny Cardoso. You haven't heard of him? I'm sure a Euro snob you could totally get everything out of. I mean, Johnny Cardoso is a good player, plays for Internacional in Brazil. Good player. They've been working to get him in. He played against Wales that first international break after COVID. He's come around a couple of times, different camps. Don't think he really, if I recall correctly, I don't think he got called up to World Cup qualifying. But, yeah, Cardozo's a good player. So, Euro snobs really love him, though. U.S. fans say one thing, and then 5 minutes later they say another. That's what I mean. I was reading somebody else's comment, but it's true. Or it was a U.S. MLS fan saying something, then 5 minutes later a freaking Euro snob says something. But he's right. Connor's right. Cross in by Pulisic. Somebody get him off corners. Jesus. Nice play by Miles Robinson to pull that forward. That's a foul free kick. Pretty good score. Somebody get Pulisic off corners. I swear, Pulisic has been like Harry Kane at Euro 2016 to not on corners. Jesus. Somebody get him off corners. Put Reyna on corners. Put Zendejas on corners. Well, I don't know. What's the equivalent of a Euro snob who only watches CONCACAF footy? You're looking right at him. A Conca head. There we go. That's what we'll call him. Conca head. You're looking at him. I mean, I do watch Europe a little bit, but the sleep schedule does not help with that. But if I mostly 95% CONCACAF. I don't think I'm 100%, but covering, yeah, definitely 98. But I do watch. There's sometimes I cover Europe, but that's like 2%. Conca head. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the way to go with it. But I'd rather watch CONCACAF. So, there you go. 58th minute. I think people are way too harsh on it. '58th minute. Nil-nil, 0-0, USA. So far, definitely looks like they'll still draw and get through the group. It only takes one moment, though. That'll be a free kick for... Nope, just plays for it. Oh, that's a horrible pass. That's a horrible pass. Just passes it through. There's no way, is it? Oh, past the post. Goal kick for Turner. 6th Division English Soccer, St. Albans City FC is my team. Nice. Brendan Aronson and Ricardo Pepi are coming on for the USA. Zendejas is off for Aronson. I don't know if that was the best sub. I don't know. I don't think so. I think he could have totally went for Raynar Pulisic. And DK for Pepi. Fair. Yeah. I do have to agree. Early spring and fall definitely are fun, I have to say. The summer with just MLS and maybe European matches, depending on what's going on. Definitely, I mean, Gold Cup, but like really it's just CONCACAF carrying most summers, you know? Like Euros, like 2021, 2016, 2018, 2022 was weird for a summer, you know? There was like international breaks, but like summer MLS, it's the only game in town, but it's still, you know, it doesn't hit right. I mean, spring MLS and fall MLS, when you have that, you can just watch football all day. Yeah. From like European to MLS matches, it's just, I have to admit, that's pretty nice. Which I've done a good bit this whole season. I've done a good bit, especially with a season pass. What if Qatar ends up winning the Gold Cup? All the CONCACAF teams should hang their heads in shame. Because CONCACAF, or I should say, Qatar's not good right now. I get they got Kiros. That could make them back to where they were at their peak in the 2021 Gold Cup. They peaked too early. For me personally, if you're going to lose to Qatar and the Gold Cup goes to Qatar after they got embarrassed at the World Cup in their backyard, you need to hang your head in shame. 2021, it would have been embarrassing, but at least they were at the peak of their powers. They looked great. Now we know they're fraudulent, even if Quiros is a better manager than Felix Sanchez. So personally, Canada, USA, Mexico, or Jamaica better win the Gold Cup. If we don't avert disaster this time, yeah, no. That's a disappointment. Pepi! In through, onside, shot, goal, 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 goal. Ricardo Pepi solo run comes on and about, 2 minutes later, gets his goal. It's 1-0 United States, 1-0. Ricardo Pepi, his third of the window. Yes. Man, he's got it. What a solo run, too. Chips the keeper as well. Calm, cool, and collected. In the 63rd minute. 1-0, 1-0. USA, a lot better spot than they were. That was a good change. Pepi again. Qatar's hosting the Asian Cup, too. That's in the winter, so like late 23, January 2024. Pepi, boom, there it is. I think the U.S. found their true number 9. I think so, too. I think Pepi's got it. He's got the job. He's shown that he's got his confidence back after failing absolutely horrendously at Augsburg, Germany, Augsburg. He chipped that like Chipper Jones. We're in Orlando, not Atlanta, okay? But then again, I guess most Orlando, well, I get the joke. It was pretty, that was a chip. I get it. Fair enough. Pepi, boom. Damn, that was a good goal. Looks like Pepi's time in Germany paid off. No, that's why he got sent to Groningen. He didn't do anything at Augsburg. It damn near ruined his career. It made him miss the World Cup, even though he was scoring bucket loads over there. But at least he's got his confidence back, and I hope PSV is the one who picks him up. Qatar was never good. Matt Turner gets the ball. I mean, they were at the peak of their powers during the 2021 Gold Cup. Like, they actually That either says something about CONCACAF that isn't U.S., Mexico, or Canada, maybe Jamaica, or that was just a really good tournament. Then they won the Asian Cup in 19, didn't they? Summer MLB might be all right. Not going to lie. It's warm enough to attend games in ballparks to eat the best food, some of the best food on earth. Yeah. I wish the Jays-Cardinals series was later in the season. But hey, you know what? If Cubs-Cardinals, Marcus Stroman starting, I'll go to Busch for that. Nachos. 66 minute. TFC 2, Cincy 4. Jesus. That's what happens when you don't play Coelho. He wasn't even on the bench. I'm going to start at Alonso Coelho, Camarero, better than Mark Anthony, K, agenda, and I don't care. He is. If you watch the San Jose versus Toronto game over the weekend, you know I'm right. Alonso Coelho is better than Mark Anthony, K. The agenda rolls. Jesus, TFC 2. I just hope they play better against Chicago on Friday. I'll be live for it. Friday night, TFC 2. Saturday night, TFC main team. Tuesday, Canada. Wednesday, Thursday off. But I'll be live for TFC 2. Would you look at that? The ref knows where his cards are. El Salvador should have at least 3 players on yellows. This is CONCACAF. Okay? You know that's going to happen. Kevin Reyes gets a yellow card. You know that the referee is going to forget his yellows for at least 30 minutes. You know what's going to happen. Stop acting like you're shocked. We all know what happens. At least for a half, the referee forgets his cards. This is CONCACAF. Come on now. I'd rather, or he just keeps pulling out cards, but I'd rather him forget his cards for a half than just pull out needless cards every 3 fouls. So I don't know why you're complaining. It's like you're shocked. Yeah, there definitely could have been 3 players on El Salvador who should have been on a card. But if they had 3 players on a card at this point, the U.S. probably would have had 2. Pepi blocked away. So it either would have been a power trip. It would have been a power trip by the referee, or he's just not letting him play. What do you want? Let him play or a power trip? Personally, I'd rather him let him play. Power trips ruin games, frankly. And we've seen it in Europe as well. I hate when the referee power trips. That's the one thing I hate the most. I would rather a referee forget his cards for 45 minutes. Or hell, the whole game than power trip. Especially when it's against your team. Makes you want to throw something through the TV. Never know what you're going to get with CONCACAF officials. I mean, you kind of do, but I get what you're saying. '67th or '69th minute. The ref's doing a good job. I mean, he's letting them play. I'd rather him do that, but I'm just saying, it's CONCACAF. You know that there's going to be a time period where nothing is going to get called. I mean, this is true because at the World Cup, the best referee was Ismail Elfath. We all know and love him, don't we? He was the best referee at the World Cup. Elfath was the best referee at the World Cup. And good for him. He hasn't had any bad MLS or CONCACAF moments since the World Cup. It seems like he's turned a corner. If we got the new Elfath in MLS for a season and CONCACAF, I'm good with it. Just don't go back to being a complete idiot, being a dunce. I'm starting to get used to new Elfath. I'm kind of happy with the way he's calling games since the World Cup, or during the World Cup and since. I'll give him his respect. I'll give him his flowers. But it says something when the best referee at the World Cup was from CONCACAF, and he had a reputation for being an idiot before. A reputation for being a crap referee before. So, then again, you got that everywhere. I mean, you have your, well, I wouldn't say scapegoated refs. Anthony Taylor sucks. Now that Elfath is actually serviceable, yeah, I hate Ted Uncle more. Yeah. Ted Uncle was always second on the list, yeah. There's two referees, well, when Elfath was crap, there were two referees that always cringed when I saw Toronto got him. Ishmael Elfath, Ted Uncle. Now it's just Ted Uncle. Or cringed the most. Luca De La Torre and Taylor Booth coming on. Oh, boy. Luca, great. De La Torre, though. Or Luca De La Torre, great. Taylor Booth, the man's going to overcook 5 crosses in the last 20 minutes. And I don't know if that's actually a good thing against El Salvador. No cards keeps the battle even. Well, yeah, as I said, I'd rather the ref let him play. I agree. I said that as much. Compared to a referee just calling an ump show and just giving everybody a card. So on and so forth. NHL refs are crooks. They try to sell hockey to the Deep South. Bettman told him it was on emails. I mean, well, even though they sold it to the Deep South, I've been a Leafs fan. By the time I became a Leafs fan, I was out of the Deep South, and I'm a Leafs fan. And Blues. Did it kind of work? Maybe. Did it? Maybe. But it didn't work the way they wanted it to. They probably wanted me to be a Thrashers fan, then a Nashville fan. That didn't work. I don't like how cards carry over in the tournament. Exactly. That's what's even worse about CONCACAF ump shows, or ref shows, I should say. That's the worst thing, because you have a very small window of where those cards can carry over, and you got to be really careful, and it doesn't help you, especially when you're the underdog in the tie, so to speak. 73rd minute, El Salvador. Nice clearance. I was like, so fair enough. Exactly. And that's the bad part of a ref show, especially if it's a yellow card that's a second red. That's even worse. And it was really cheap. And then the second half, they don't call anything, or they don't call something that cheap again. It pisses me off. Who was the Spanish ref of the World Cup who was in charge of USA, Iran, and Argentina, Netherlands, and he showed a card every 5 minutes? Was it Lahoz? I think it was Lahoz, right? Hold on. Oh, hey, it's already up there. It was Lahoz, yes. 75th minute. If I go to the Dells, I'll be there. It's not out of the question. Chile won, Paraguay won. Sounds pretty good. You're from El Salvador, but you live in the U.S., so it's a very hard decision. To me, either way, you should be happy. El Salvador, if they won, it's the biggest day in your sports life. If the USA wins, it's expected. You should be happy either way. Sure, it'd be more happy. Maybe you're rooting for El Salvador as the underdog, like I did Italy versus Japan, but I was happy either way, the World Baseball Classic. I wanted Italy to pull that upset, but I was happy either way. But I expected Japan to win. How in the hell? 2 already. Jeez. Paraguay, Argentina, Curacao should be a good game. I mean, I hope so. 76th minute. (1-0) USA, 76th minute. Menjivar coming on for El Salvador. They got the sub number wrong. Jesus. Curacao should know how to play after their defeat against Canada. It's 19, number 19. Kevin Reyes off for Menjivar. That's the sub. They screwed it up. Habs tied up 3. Think McKenny is going to score, Christian Pulisic. To make it 2, probably Pulisic. I think it stays 1-0, frankly. I really do. Or a 1-1 draw. I don't think there's much left. If Argentina loses to Curacao, I don't know what I'm going to do, but that seems like it deserves some sort of doing some dare or something just because it happened. It's not going to happen. I would eat my hat. That's probably better. I would eat my hat if Curacao beats Argentina. It's not going to happen. TFC's got Charlotte at home this weekend. TFC 2 has Chicago too, but on the road on Friday. But main TFC's got Charlotte at home on Saturday. I think those are both winnable games. Knit polos better than regular polos. You know what? I agree with that. Argentina ain't taking an L. Exactly. Like, I admit, I want to buy a Messi 3-star Argentina jersey. I do. And actually, when I got that St. Louis jersey for Christmas, that was a surprise. It was like if they found an Argentina jersey, they would have surprised me with that too. They didn't have 3 stars. They didn't have an Argentina jersey either. Point is, I am going to get a Messi 3-star jersey. I will not do that if they lose to Curacao. Shot! Oh, past the post. 1, you don't even have that. Second of all, it would be nice, but I'm not planning on it. I'm not planning on it. I was so surprised when USMNT won 7-1 versus Granada. I mean, I wasn't. That was supposed... Well, okay, 7-1 was a little bit too much, but I'm not surprised they won by a lot. Boof for the corner. Here comes the overcooked cross with 10 minutes to go. Cross in. Headed away. That actually wasn't too bad. Argentina 5, Curacao 0. Yeah, that's about right. NYCFC's got the Revs on the weekend. Ooh, that sounds like a good game. Aronson. Cross. Right to defender. Lol. That's a big risk. You're talking to Dr. Negative. I think he's trolling, okay? It's not that big of a risk. Saying, hey, Curacao, if they beat Argentina, I'll give you this sum of money. One, he doesn't even have it. Second of all, they're not going to beat Argentina. And no, if they do somehow lose, I'm not going to make him pay up because I know he don't have it. And if he does do a $10,000 super chat, well, there you go. But Saudi Arabia actually has talent. Well, okay, no, Curacao has talent, dual nationals. But Saudi Arabia has some really good players. I mean, Salam Al-Dasari, let's look at it. World Cup, he was great. Club World Cup, took Al Hilal to the final. To me, speaking of, 2 goals in the semis, 2 penalties. Boof with another corner. Oh, he stopped overcooking his crosses. Great. That was just Vieto. All right. 2 goals. You still dislike Talish Magno. I mean, I don't know why he would. I mean, I don't feel sorry for him. I don't know why he did get jumped. He's still snitched. So. He knew it was probably coming at some point. So. I mean, the gym is a little bit. Definitely not the place you want to get jumped, but Messi 5 penalties. You really got to bring that up. What? I mean, I'll answer. You always like Talish Magno. Yeah. Argentina paid for the World Cup. It was obvious. I mean, FIFA's rigged, but come on now. Somewhat. Burnley jersey ordered a week ago. Finally shipped. It got through UK. It's customs now. It'll arrive. Take a week to get through US customs. Good. Burnley. Yeah, go tell John Morant. Go tell John Morant he's about to become the next 6'9". 84th minute. If you're not from the hood, being hood is going to get you hurt. Simple as. If you're not from the mud and you act like you're from the mud, it's going to get you hurt. '84th minute. Moroccan Amazon boxes are being locked up in the airport because the king says support local stores. Based Moroccan king. Based. You love to see it. July. That is amazing. Based. Crossed in. Header. Or Pepi shot blocked away. That's out for a corner. 84th minute. But that's based. The Moroccan king says support local stores. Amazing. Wonderful. Wonderful. Can you buy the stuff at local stores? Canada's going to win the Nations League and Gold Cup. Oh, well. Okay, maybe not so. If you're in the government, no matter if you're a king or you're in a democratic government, you can get away with a lot. Or just if you're rich. If you're rich. Lots of football to cover this summer with the Women's World Cup, UEFA Nations League, Gold Cup, and CONCACAF Nations League, Leagues Cup. Yep. And MLS plays through almost all of it. Why don't we respect international breaks anymore? Oh, Apple money. Okay, yeah, right. 86 minute. How we doing, Hans? Oh, you want to buy American food. You only can buy it from... Okay, so maybe the Moroccan king going too far isn't the smartest situation, but he's got the right idea. I mean, I think it's going to stay 1-0. I agree. Well, no, they've always taken a break during the group stage, but then the knockout stage, they come back. They're not taking a break at all because the League's Cup comes up right after. Oh, boy. Oh, but they'll take a break during the Nations League, though, just like they did in 2021. Finals. That's their only true international break, and I think maybe a week in September. 87th minute. So, Martinez having a good night. Oh, blocked away. But seriously, MLS has just said, oh, international breaks, we don't recognize those. And yeah, if your players go internationally, you're going to be screwed for a Saturday. Well, depends. I mean, Toronto getting a draw way out on the West Coast, missing 2 of their best players and 4 of their squad players. Good for them. 88th minute. And if that does happen, don't worry. I won't be beating down your door for that payoff you said you're going, that money you said you're putting up. I won't beat down your door. If you want to be honorable and you do actually have it, but I won't beat down your door if that ends up happening. 88th minute. Canada versus USA final. I believe it. Going to the Honduras versus Canada game. Nice. Enjoy tomorrow. Enjoy. Close to the front row, like the sides or the south end. Yeah, that's been known for months. That don't surprise me. Besides, I mean, I don't blame him. Everybody would want out of Baltimore. Oh, they made Booth change his jersey. I guess his nose got busted. He's not going to go to the Rams. Oh, you hate the Rams too. We hate Stan Kroenke on this channel. At least I do. I think Isaiah does too, but I'm not sure. Different reasons, though. And by the way, LA fans should never claim the 2000 Super Bowl is theirs. It's not theirs. It's St. Louis's. You only have one. LA, you only have one Super Bowl. You don't have 2. You have one. St. Louis has the other. Greatest show on turf. Ever heard of it? 90th minute. See, the mayor of Baltimore doesn't even want to live in Baltimore. But again, different reasons. 4 minutes of stoppage time. Then the USA will carry this 1-0 win. Maybe 2 if they get some out of this. Shot over the bar, and Pulisic puts it into space. Hopefully to hit Daniel Levy in the head. How are you going to get rid of Antonio Conte? How are you going to get rid of a man who's a serial winner? How are you going to do that? He just wants to win. And you're like, nope, don't care. I'm going to fire you and bring in somebody else. What are you doing? Oh, by the way, you did the same thing to Jose Mourinho. If Conte and Mourinho can't set Spurs right, nobody can. Spurs will forever be a joke. Exactly. No, I don't think it went that far. Besides, he's doing pretty good in Saudi Arabia. And technically right now, isn't he in Portugal? Technically, isn't he in Portugal right now? Spurs found out that Arsenal are the club in North London. It's always been that way. There's never been a power shift. Yeah, maybe some years there wasn't a St. Totteringham's day, but it's always been Arsenal over Spurs. Even though Spurs did have a couple of years where they finished above Arsenal. Two minutes to go. Johnny Cardozo is on for Weston McKennie for 2 minutes. That's a waste of time. See, I hate subs like that, especially if they're in the midfield or the front and you're winning. Like, I get changing out a defender, but Johnny's a midfielder. Probably more offensive, too. Harry Kane could have went to City. He didn't. He's stuck at Spurs for the rest of his life. Oh, no, he could go to United. He could go to United. Now, that's what we call a power shift. Basically, it's United or bust this summer for him, and if he doesn't, he's screwed for the rest of his career. Harry Kane is Alan Shearer of the 2010s and 2020s. 93rd minute. He's going to break the Premier League goal scoring record, Harry Kane, but he ain't going to win no damn trophy. Speaking of, he could have been there before Haaland. That was the point. But then you got Haaland, and that means, and Alvarez, he can't go to City. So it's United or bust for him. He should have moved 2 years ago. Honestly, it's a good thing for City that he didn't, though. I mean, Alvarez and Haaland are both better, especially right now. 94th minute. Oh, yeah, Shearer did. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he did. But I was like, hold on. Did he? I was like, yeah, he did. I'm a little bit too young. Like, I know he did, but I never saw it. Harry Kane will be in Germany next season. I got a feeling. He's going to Bayern. They need a Lewandowski replacement. Alphonso Davies plays with Harry Kane. Jesus. Actually, that probably wouldn't be too bad. Harry Kane's going to be farming goals in Germany. Zavaleta puts that one out for a corner, and they're still playing into the 95th minute. '94th minute, not blowing the whistle. Jeez. Imagine he goes to like Wolfsburg. He's not going to Wolfsburg. Dortmund at the worst. Maybe Frankfurt. He's going to a Champions League club. Like, going to Wolfsburg is just trading Spurs for Spurs. Full time. There we go. 1-0. 1-0. USA grinds it out. A 1-0 win. They win their group. They will be going to the CONCACAF Nations League semifinals. Estados Unidos avanzar de la Liga Nations de las semifinales. Liga Nations de la CONCACAF. 1-0, 1-0. Grind out the win. They will be playing one of Mexico, the winner of Honduras, Canada, or the winner of Costa Rica, Panama. That being said, one plus one is 2, not 11. I suck at math, but I can add. I can add and subtract and do basic multiplication and basic division. Anything harder than that, that calculator is freaking buried. Oh, there it is. There it is. Anything harder than that, I need a scientific calculator. Yeah, it was still sitting on my desk. It's been sitting there for, what, 4 years? I don't even know. I want to charge it to see if it works. Jeez. Well, that being said, that's the game. Make sure that's... I had to, because when I was in high school, I somehow was in advanced math from grade 10 to grade 12. I don't know how I did it. So I had to have it. Maybe it'll come in handy at some point, still having it. But it's just been sitting there for 3 years. So just buried. Hadn't even been charged. I want to see if it still works, frankly, now that I've pulled it out. But with that being said, yep, I'm watching Canada tomorrow. Should be a good one. With that being said, thank y'all for watching this stream after that. Really, some extra prop comedy. Okay, now y'all really want to keep me here, don't you? No. Half and half scarves, half and half shirts. No. Just no. Unless you're Mama Kelsey. That was okay. Unless if it's USA versus El Salvador and Christian Roldan was playing, your Mama Roldan, you're wearing a half and half shirt, that's fine. If you're the parent of a player and they're playing for each country, that's fine. But as a fan, I don't care if you live in one country and was born somewhere else. That's not right. There's only certain places where a half and half scarf or a half and half shirt is right. And I'm a Tom Brady fan, and I never bought a half and half Brady Patriots Buccaneers jersey. I would never do that. So. There's only certain times where half and half jerseys are right. Mama Roldan, if Christian Roldan was called up, they played each other, Alex and Christian, that would be correct. Mama Kelsey at the Super Bowl, that was correct. But with that being said, now, with that being said, it was 1-0, 1-0, USA wins. Estados Unidos, Victoria. With that being said, if you like the stream, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification once subscribe. Send super chats on the live streams. Comment on this video. Put us in playlist. Share with friends and family. All that great stuff. I shall see you within the hour for the review of this game. Not much to say, but I'll say what I need to say. I'm Ron and I'm out. Peace. See you later.